Hi, this is Tim Weaver from CVG.
And this is Matt Castle from CVG.
And we're here to review Resident Evil Revelations on 3DS today. And Matt, you've been playing it non-stop for a couple of weeks now.
Oh yeah, I can't get enough of it.
And it's pretty good.
Yeah, it's great. It's a really interesting kind of mix of sort of Resident Evil thinking, past and present, you know, because after Resident Evil 5, a lot of people thought, you know, whether the series was kind of losing its way. And it had that great little bit of DLC.
Yeah, I mean, the DLC really was what kind of saved the day, really, because Resi 5 pretty much was a disappointment.
Yeah, exactly. But that DLC kind of took it back to a mansion, went for the sort of spook fest again, and that's exactly what Revelations is all about. It's kind of taking the action of Resident Evil 4, the over-the-shoulder gunplay, but it's bringing it back into a kind of spooky location. In this case, a sort of deserted ocean liner, which is out at sea, and something mysterious has happened to the crew.
Yeah, so which characters have we got this time then?
We got this is Jill Valentine, who is exploring the ship, but the action also cuts to Chris Redfield, who is exploring on this sort of snowy mountain, and there's lots of other characters, and that's one of its big things, is that the story hops between like multiple characters and multiple perspectives.
Okay, and it works really effectively.
Yeah, and it kind of feeds into the portable design, because you've got it's split into little segments based on little characters. All of them are like 15 minutes of bursts of play.
Right, yeah. Very episodic.
Very episodic. Yeah. They actually brought in an anime screenwriter from Ghost in the Shell to help script the segment, so they had the kind of pace of an anime episode, and they all end on a cliffhanger, so you kind of end up playing and then you want to see what happens next.
And it looks so nice as well.
Yeah, and for a 3DS game, and it is absolutely beautiful. And the you know, at times you'd think it was just, you know, it looks as good as Resi 5 in places, I think. And the kind of lighting off them, the sort of reflections, the textures. It's got a really kind of cool atmosphere, this sort of layer of fog. Of course, the 3D really helps because it kind of draws you in, so you're completely focused.
So tell us a bit about the 3D, because obviously, you know, the 3DS is a brilliant piece of kit, but in some games the 3D doesn't bring to life the
no,
game
it doesn't, exactly.
Some
Some games 3D just sort of pushes the whole kind of image away, but here it's all about, because you're set in the bows of a ship, so it's all about sort of stretching corridors away from you, so you're kind of looking down, you're sort of peering into the murk, and you know, it's all a game. It's a game that's all about how close things are to you, how close monsters are, things are coming to get you, and that kind of sense of distance between you and them is actually really effective. And I wouldn't say it's the scariest game in the world, but it's definitely tense, because you can feel that kind of presence sort of shuffling closer.
And are they zombies, or are
they're
they
not?
infected,
This is my big problem with the game, is that they're not zombies. They're these sort of generic things that I believe are just called the ooze. They never say that in the cutscenes, but that's what they're called. Which are they're kind of like the Silent Hill meat men, you know?
Yeah, they look. I was going to say they look a bit Silent Hill-y.
But the problem is they don't have the kind of responsiveness of a zombie. You know, you shoot them in the head, their heads don't explode because they don't really have heads. They're sort of moulded into the bodies, and you shoot them in the legs and they don't fall over like they did in Resi 4. So they can feel like bullet sponges, you know. Right. So maybe it doesn't satisfy as a sort of straight out, you know, I just want to shoot some zombies and have some fun that way. But like I said, it's kind of going back to that slightly sort of spookier kind of idea from before. So it's more, you know, the shooting in the old Resis was never very good. You know, you'd empty it, it's like emptying it into a picture of a zombie, which it is here.
It seems like they sort of mix up the environments quite a lot. We've got snowy stuff here.
Yeah, definitely. And it's got great scope. Something interesting I think is going to feed into Resident Evil 6, because if you looked at that trailer, it's like hopping from between China and America and all these places. They've got a real taste for it here. It's pretty amazing how much they've crammed in that tiny little 3DS car. I mean, it feels like a proper kind of console entry. And they said themselves they were so tempted to stick a number on the end, and I think it would be justified.
And of course, you know, talking of stuff they've crammed in, they've got tons of other additional modes as well as the sort of campaign mode. Yeah,
well, the big thing is it's called Raid mode, which is kind of the spiritual successor to Mercenaries. Which was the bonus mode in Resident Evil 4, which had you kind of, it was like a time attack thing. Here it's like a straight gauntlet. You're stuck in a long sort of, takes a stretch of the level from the main game. It populates it with zombies. You have to get to the end as fast as possible, killing them as quickly as possible. But the idea is it's a loot grinding game, so with every pass you do, you get better guns, better upgrades. So you're becoming more and more powerful. I've been playing it for weeks. That's what I've been playing for weeks, is just that raid mode, because it's incredibly addictive. You could also get 2 players in there. Right. You know, you can play them online or local co-op.
So can you take those? Presumably, you can take those upgrades back into the single-player game.
Well, this is the interesting thing. It's got like an achievement system, like the Xbox, except so you get lots of achievements for killing X ooze monsters, finishing in this amount of time, and finishing those achievements then unlocks weapons and things in the single-player game.
Right.
So your achievements, you're encouraged to play to unlock more everywhere.
And does that does that really make a difference to the way you play the single player? Are there
Not
bits
really. To tell you the truth, to unlock all the raid mode, you have to play through single player, because the raid is in itself a reward, an achievement reward for finishing single player. But it works because I think the single player is also designed to be replayed, on harder difficulties with better weapons, better upgrades. So you're becoming more powerful as the game's becoming more powerful, and I just think it's a really nice feedback loop, sort of feeding into itself.
Okay, so lastly, keeping things spoiler free, what's your personal favourite moment in Revelation?
My personal favourite moment, there's actually one very scary moment about halfway through. There's a boss fight which takes place through the whole ship, where it's kind of like, like the Regenerators in Resi 4 or Nemesis in 3. It's this idea of some unstoppable something coming to get you, and it can get you anywhere in the ship. I think it's a really, really cool moment.
Mr. Redfield, the show is about to begin.